Columbia, Houston, we hate to interrupt your sightseeing, but we'd like to talk to you about 2 or 3 things here in the last 5 minutes of this pass here through Bermuda.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and good afternoon, space fans. I'd like to tell you what we're doing here in the Space Shuttle Columbia. We're speeding over the world at about 17,500 miles per hour, now over the United States. And we're doing some medical experiments, among other things. This one I have right here is called an electrophoresis experiment. It simply is a electrical way to separate out various chemical agents that cannot be separated out very easily on the ground. And it's a very expensive process. However, in zero G, these chemical agents can be separated out and used for various pharmaceutical and other medical purposes. This experiment is simply a forerunner of another more elaborate one, which can produce more, which will be on a future flight and has already been funded very substantially by one of our U.S. pharmaceutical firms. But basically what we have here is a tube in process. It's inside of this container. The tube is just like this and it has a fluid inside, which is actually a carrier for the agent which is being separated out. We have a sample that we use to place right in this slot in here, and the sample is contained in a freezer. Inside of this freezer are several small samples which are used in this electrophoresis experiment. Experiment is going to show us, I believe, that we can manufacture very large quantities at a much lower cost and thereby be able to combat some of the diseases more effectively on the ground than we are able to do at this present time. So we're glad to have you with us today, and we hope that you will keep following the flight of the Columbia as we go on for the next week. Here comes the studio TV technician down to put in a brief appearance here. Sally?
Is that the vampire that goes with the red blood cells?
Something like that.
Jack, that was a super summary and a great description, said like a true scientist. And we're getting real good pictures of you operating the EEDT.
Okay, now I have to put the top back on this. It's actually migrated 42 centimeters now, and it's only been 30 minutes. And so you can see this is very effective. And in 10 minutes more, I will take a look at it again just to see how well it's doing. But it obviously is working very well. This is a very good piece of equipment. If you look right around the base of the vertical fin, you'll be able to see the particles start to appear just as the sun comes up and either illuminates the particles or starts to heat them up so they fly off, or both. I'm not sure which. Here comes a spray of them now. You see on both sides of the tail there. Like the 4th of July. Okay, we've got our camera set up, and the commander, Jack Lousma, is way back there in the corner where the insect experiment is stowed. He's taken it out of the drawer in one of our lockers there, and is bringing it out to tape it to the wall of our airlock. As you can see, there's lots of action in the box. Yes, that's good. That's right on. In this box, we have some moths, we have some bees, and we have some flies. We also have some larvae of moths, which are positioned around. This experiment was proposed by a young man from Rose Creek, Minnesota, a high school student who entered a national contest for high school students. And he was one of the one who won, and because of that, he has his experiment on the Space Shuttle Columbia, and there will be several others on other flights in the future in order to stimulate interest among high school science students for the space program. And this is a study in how flying insects behave in a gravity-free environment. And we have two kinds, essentially, one kind with a very big wing and heavier body and a small wing, and so you see we have the two extremes. And most of them have positioned themselves around the periphery of the box or fastened themselves onto something. And unless we agitate them a little bit and make them get going, now it seems like the moths are doing a little better than the bees. The bees are just sort of tumbling around without flapping their wings. But the moths, every once in a while, you can see that one flying right there. He seems to have adapted to some degree to zero gravity. And there are a few bees like this one here. He's just floating around. He's taking the easy way out like Gordo is now. You don't see Gordo flapping his wings in zero G.
Gordo, just for our information, were you able to regain the zoom on camera Bravo?
No, here we go though from point 93 in our automatic sequence onto the next point, point 94. You can see it's sliding to the port side of the vehicle. The answer to your question was negative. Down there, how are you?
Pretty good. Like your bumper sticker.
Do you see this one? I don't know if you can see that one or not, Sally. It says Marine since 1775, unhampered by progress. Been keeping a closer eye on the PDP high voltage. So far it's hanging in there.
Roger. And Gordo, we can see your equal time bumper sticker by the mission timer.
That's it. They told him if he joined the Air Force, he'd rise to great heights.
Okay, now what Gordo's going to do is bring the plasma diagnostic package down near the electron generator. The electron generator, if we have some particles nearby, ought to ionize some of those particles and cause a beam that we could see if it were in the darkness. But it ought to be able to detect that beam if he is able to locate it, because it's related to the magnetic field. and we know about where the magnetic field is, and I have some instruments that I can watch to see if he gets it. Okay, he's registering an increase in the 1 kilovolt electron. Okay, Gordo, it's increasing now.
We put the manipulator arm through the loaded operations, that is, with an attached payload for the first time in its ever, and exercised all the very complex sequences that the manipulator arm has built into it. Some of those involve manually positioning the arm, others with the software doing it automatically, and our job merely to monitor for safety considerations. We operated the arm night and day, so when the sun went down, we turned on lights in the payload bay and found that they were adequate to see it visually as well as operate our television system.
Periodically it would show up in the overhead window as you see it pictured here, and then it would be moved to the forward part of the spacecraft up over the nose to make some measurements, and it was spectacular to watch it come real close and silently but smoothly move to its next point in the sequence, and this gives you the full appreciation of the total spectacle of the background. Yeah, we had a hygiene area in which we could wash up, shave, brush our teeth, and so forth, and we had soap and running water, so it was very easy to keep yourself clean. And here's a picture of Gordo establishing himself in that area. And why don't you move the coat there, Gordo, and get it out of the way? Thank you. And of course, one of the things Gordo had to do was brush his hair every morning. Eating was a real pleasure, of course. It's impossible to knock your milk off the table up there, kiddos. There's no way to get in trouble with Mom. You just leave things float around, and when you want them, you just grab them out of thin air, and you can eat standing on your head or however you please.
When you say eating was a real pleasure and you hear it from Jack Lousma, you can believe it. He really means it.
Most of the food that we had was mixed with water, and then we had a heater we could put it in if we wanted to make it warm. We had an exerciser on board that we used a couple of times, and we could position ourselves on it. It was a treadmill which was self-propelled, and get our exercise with no hands.
In the 10 minutes I ran on this treadmill, I think we should figure out the number. Something like 3,000 miles we traveled.
Here's a man who ran 3,000 miles in just a few minutes.
We took the whole exercise thing very seriously. As you'll see, this was not the only thing we did to keep in shape.
Of course, you have to create work for yourself up in space. Your body does less work up there than it does when you're just lying in bed sleeping against the force of gravity. So we had to devise a number of exercise routines. Weightlifting and balancing act here. Now, not many of you can do this right here. He doesn't put them on one leg at a time like everybody else.
As soon as I get this down, I'm going to get a Dorothy Hamill wig and try out for the ice bucket.
And, of course, Marines aren't happy unless they do their push-ups every day. That wasn't too tough, so, you know, look, one arm. And if you want to, you can do foot-ups. Now, if you really got frustrated, you could do this. Well, you really can see we didn't do much work up there, and finally came time to come home. So we got the payload bay doors closed and got a wave off for mission control.
Everything looking good. Airspeed 285.
Intersecting the hack now, passing 26,000. Looks good.
2.5 minutes to touchdown. 13 miles range. Turning right now into runway 17 at 20,000 feet. Airspeed 295. Range 10 miles.
Club Houston winds 190 at 14.
Wait before you go.
Out of 15,000 feet.
Two copy lines, Houston.
Airspeed
Columbia
275.
Houston, go for auto to inner glide slope.
Go for auto at 12,000 feet.
Okay, we're on auto, Houston.
Columbia now in auto land. Out of 10,000 feet at 288. Body flaps and trail.
Flash out, flashing.
Roger.
$5,000 feet. Airspeed 280. Range about 3 miles.
Pre-flare, Houston.
Roger.
1,000 feet. Airspeed 292. Still in auto.
50 feet, gear coming.
Comes the gear.
Gear down. 20. 10, 5, 4, touchdown. Nose gears 10. Nose gears 5, 4, 3, 3. Touchdown. Bienvenidos, amigos.
The mission elapsed time of touchdown, unofficially 8 days, 0 hours, 4 minutes, 49 seconds.
Okay, wheels are stopped, Houston.
Okay, Columbia, welcome home. That was a beautiful job.
Convoy 1, Columbia, read you loud and clear. How me? Welcome home. Area 5 square 2.